So let's go ahead and head over to the stage and see how this one is going to shape up. Enough talk. It's time for action. What are we going to get? What are you guessing? I'm guessing Subbase. I'm guessing Ankara. And then...
As the picks,
yeah.
I think it's very likely. I'm expecting a guaranteed ban on Eagle Eye, and LCK banning Port here isn't a big surprise. It is in the West League, one of their weaker maps, so Port Eagle Eye would be a pretty on-par expectation here, maybe into a Subbase Ankara pick. The second bans is where I'm most curious, but actually it is going to be Mexico taken off the table.
Good choice.
And this is where I think LCK has to make the bold statement of picking Subbase, even knowing it's also Imperial's strongest map, because I feel like Subbase is just a strong comfort pick for them, and if they want to win this series, it's a map I think they have to take down Imperial on.
Yeah, good choice, and I agree. And end of the day, the thing about that decision is, look, you can go toward a map that you think your opponent is a bit weaker on, but if you don't know how to play that map, then you can kind of end up being up the creek without a paddle if things start to go a little bit wrong. In the worst case, even though your opponent's good on Subbase, at least you know your way around that map. So you're never in the situation where you're just like, well, I'm completely out of ideas. Even if you're getting pummeled, you're still going to have something to fall back on. And I think that's good news for LCK as far as the pick is concerned. We'll see whether or not we are correct in our assumptions that Ankara will be the next map here. Decided, of course, by Imperial.
Yeah, it's a tough call, but it is going to be Ankara here for this one. Now is kind of the interesting part, I think, is the secondary bans. I would expect one of these two teams for sure to take Eagle Eye potentially off the table. I don't think Imperial specifically is going to want to play it here. And LCK, they didn't have the best time on it either in their first showing, but with how similar their pools are, I almost feel like both teams might prefer Black Widow as this map 3.
Yeah, might just come down to that. See a little Eagle Eye compound ban action is going to be up to Imperial at the end of the day. You know, they're going to be given the choice between either Black Widow and Eagle Eye after this compound ban. So we'll get a deeper look into, you know, how comfortable they're feeling with Black Widow, or if they want to attack LCK on a map that they've already looked a little bit weak on. Let's see what they decide. No, they're going to go over to Black Widow. They say, no Eagle Eye, you're still comfortable on that. We'll play Black Widow. That's just fine with us.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think both teams kind of got what they wanted out of this map pool, considering it's a similar map pool for both of them. It's just going to come down to, if it goes to map 3, who's a little bit more prepared on that Black Widow, but it is going to be a tough road to get there. LCK, they're starting on the GR side this time around, and the reason they were so dominant when they played against All Gamers was because of that strong BL start they got. Yeah. So I think it is going to be a bit of a different challenge this time around.
Yeah, Black Widow was, again, like one of those maps that we kind of expected, right? I think we've done a pretty good job, actually, as far as the predictions for the
good job,
concerned.
us.
Yeah, Subbase, Ankara, and Black Widow. Everyone give yourselves a pat on the back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about time we copped a dub, you know, so we'll
First
take it.
one of the tournament.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Actually, no, I will say all day we've kind of been on the money, to be honest, with the picks. I think maybe the port from 3BL wasn't exactly what we 100% called, but like the Kungana game,
we called for that.
Did we?
Actually, yeah.
I mean, the Kungana game we picked, like Mexico, Ankara, definitely we said that was likely to be the case, and yeah, so well done, everybody. I'm just proud of you all. That's all that matters.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is very interesting. I think we're going to know very quickly how the series is going to go, because it's Subbase Blacklist for Imperial. Map 1. Like, if they come out here strong and they begin to pummel LCK and really take over this map, it might just be over. Like, it's definitely, it feels like comfort, but also a risk. Like we've talked about many different times, going back and forth between the Subbase selection for LCK. They're also very comfortable on it. But slight advantage here with the Blacklist side over to Imperial. If they start off strong, they get that momentum going. This is like a freight train team. Like they just feed off
mic on the black headset. I like it. He's really thinking about things there.
It's very important. I do agree.
Guys,
we are ready to jump into the game, as it looks like game start has been called. Will be sub-base for the first map of this best of 3, and I hope that we can get a very competitive back and forth series and match between these two teams, but it will be up to LCK to stop the tide early on and keep things even. Let's see how it does go as we hop onto sub-base for map number 1.
You can see here Imperial not wasting a lot of time to kick off this opening round, taking control over that B control room early on, but LCK playing pretty safe in this opening round. A very passive setup across the board, putting a little bit of early pressure onto A long, but nothing too aggressive on their end. But they are kind of set up favoring a B execution on this round, and it may actually be the right call here. You can see Imperial giving a lot of attention towards this Locker's position.
Well, Lionclaw will potentially be the first to receive that offensive. He's going to drop himself down the smoke to provide a little bit more space. He's got a lot of members actually filtering back toward the B site. Imperial might want to reconsider. It really doesn't look like they're committed to anything at this point in time either. It's a very default setup from Imperial. Standard stuff. Get a bit of a feel for what your opponents are playing on the global risk side, where they're setting up. Are they looking to play a little bit aggressive? You know, have they got one player toward A only? These are all kind of pieces of information in the puzzle that you need to sort of think about as the Blacklist team in maybe the first 3 to 4 rounds of the half. What are their tendencies looking like? And that's what the default setup is intended to do. It gives you information across the map. If any push comes, someone's there to receive it. Inevitably, obviously, you will have to make your move, which is going to occur now.
Yeah, it seems like they want to challenge here towards the A bomb site. Dane, he's got the angle to challenge, gets the leg shot onto Ryuzao, but he can't get the follow-up. It's already 2 picks on the table, but Lionclaw from the Lockers is only going to be 1 and done as well. And just like that, Imperial steamroll their way into the B bomb site. Dezane now left alone in a 1-on-4.
Yeah, gonna be rough for him. Through smoke, pushing into B. Of all places, definitely a lot of different angles you have to cover. And to even begin to breach into that coverage is going to be difficult. As the push straight on through, they challenge Dane. They take him out early. Gokhan got that kill over in Lockers. And from there, it kind of just collapsed in onto B. And LCK were not able to stop that onslaught. So nicely done from Imperial to get them started here with the big round win.
And it seems Imperial want to really place quite a heavy premium on the control room. 2 rounds in a row, we've seen them send the vast majority of their forces in that direction at the start of the round. A bit of util getting tossed in both occasions as well. It has netted them control of the control room very early on in the round. And from there, they start to explore elsewhere. Feifei having a bit of a push in through mid. Will be smoked off. It's set up nicely close by the double doors.
Yeah, we can see here, though, another slow round on our hands. I'm surprised we haven't seen too much aggression yet from LCK. Kind of just hoping they can bait them in again. But last round, when they played a little bit safe, it didn't actually work out too well for them. Imperial was just able to take so much map control over towards A long that they just waltz right into the back of the B bomb side. So I'm hoping they can at least change things up a little bit on the LCK side this time around. Dane still looking for that opening pick, but this time we are going to see even more attention towards that B control room.
Yeah, definitely want to get a push going there. Although Imperial, in their own right, taking things a bit slow. Gokhan has maneuvered in to the other side of those doors, it looks like, as a little bit of a push coming in through the hallway as well. Adrian could begin to push in through there with the help of his teammates, although maybe some play in through the vents. Just trying to drop in and take out Dane. They just keep isolating him, and he has not been able to hold on to it. As now LCK are just scattered and not able to stop this push from coming in onto the B site. That should be the plant on this one. Dezane does come in from behind. He's got flex to group up with them, there's still a chance to retake this 3v3.
Yeah, it's quite a nice setup actually for LCK, with Lion Claw coming in from the locker room being a bit of a thorn in the side, and that is why Feifei's having to dedicate his resources in that direction. We'll go down in the meanwhile. Good trade though from ADRF on the off angle, and it's important for Ryu's out to at least get one there. Well done from him. Leaves it on the shoulders of ADRF. He was the MVP in the last map for Imperial, the last two, in fact. He'll draw out the peak from Flex, but now the sit is on. It's a full stick, but ADRF, he doesn't get there. He just misses the shots. He got there, but he missed the shots.
It's pretty unfortunate there. I thought he was going to hit that shot at the end of the day, but it's just a tough position to give yourself to play off of that bomb. There's really not a whole lot of time to get in there and stop the diffuser. Looking at the replay, you can see the struggles in holding on to the rafter position, but at the end of the day, it felt like Imperial, that's a round they should have won. They just kind of misplayed the bomb positioning.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a little bit of a fail when it came to holding on to the bomb, and now Flex is holding his own, although Rizal and Lucam do trade one back. Gokun trying to push in through the lockers, but Lion Claw makes it very difficult to push through, making this a 2-on-2. Gokun just trying to push forward with the Alm, and this is, you know, this is Gokun play. This is what he does. He's got the angle on Dane. I don't think Dane saw him at all, and eventually, okay, well, sees him, and his life flashes before his eyes before he goes down.
Oh, it's going to rotate though for ADRF, but not if Gokun's going to hit things like that. Okay. Well, we spoke a lot about Gokun yesterday. Didn't really live up to expectations. Wasn't a bad game from him, but wasn't Gokun level good. Then coming into today, I wonder, has Gokun arrived? That was a very good round from him. Two pretty crisp shots, that one especially onto Dezane. 2-1 scoreline for Imperial. Already looking pretty good in this series so far. LCK, their one round coming from a one-on-one victory. Could just as easily have been 3-0 for Imperial. Probably should have been 3-0 for Imperial.
Yeah, at this point, I'm kind of hoping they change things up a little bit more. They're kind of running the same default over and over again on the side of LCK, putting that early attention onto the B-bomb side. To be fair, it has been where Imperial has attacked from the majority of the rounds, but they just don't have the trade setups to make sure they can kind of pincer these players as they come into sight. It's proved to be quite the challenge for pretty much everyone across the board, except for maybe Lion Claw, who has been at least consistent from his angle on lockers in getting at least one every single round. But this time, we do see Imperial playing a bit more spread out as well. You can see Feifei wants to take the challenge onto Dezane, actually takes him down to 10 HP, and this is the kind of poking and prodding that works really well against this team, and kind of the mistake that All Gamers made was playing a little bit too fast into such a passive team.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Imperial had the information from that matchup to kind of decide how they were going to take it, and I think this style, as you mentioned, is working out really well for them. Gokun going to get that shot onto Real, but Lion Claw consistent as ever. Dane really struggling to find his place in this map, and he just keeps getting hounded down, and there's just no support for him. Dezane, the last one left. But again, over and over, they just keep getting these nice pushes in and isolating Dane, and there's just not enough defense to stop the onslaught of Imperial.
Definitely a tough spot to be in as a sniper. It's a fairly inflexible weapon. You want to be focusing on one angle rather than having to flick back and forth. You'd probably prefer the rifle. It gives you a little bit more peripheral vision if that's what you're required to do. You could see the pressure that Dane was put under, and certainly a lot of pressure actually now as he's 0-4 for the map so far alongside Real. Only one really stepping up at the moment is Lion Claw for LCK, and that is a pretty bad sign, especially when you got the stars of Imperial looking pretty solid. Gokun 5-2 right now. ADRF 4-1. Not to mention Ryu's out as well. Not someone that we always speak about when we're talking about the top fraggers on Imperial, but he's quietly putting together a good game as well. So scary prospects for LCK.
You can see the nades coming down. Lion Claw still holding on to this quad box position and playing it very patiently, not peeking out too early. Ryu's out on the other side. Might potentially give him an opportunity. Lion Claw goes for the swing, can't fully connect on the shots, and Ryu's out, able to get out of there. without losing too much health in the process. Now you can see Imperial starting to rotate their way back towards this A-bomb site hit, where it's still pretty much Dezane left alone, but you do at least have a couple players on the upper bomb side as well, kind of prepared for this vent lurk. Ryuzao on the other side of it, but Dane, he still has to connect on this shot, and this kind of half smoke in his way might prove to make it a little bit more challenging. Ryuzao gets the first, and here comes the onslaught onto the A-bomb site, and already it's again Lion Claw left alone in a 1-on-4.
Yeah, really rough. I mean, he's been doing well to hold that angle on B, and maybe even Imperial were like, well, it seems like they've got a pretty nice setup on B over and over, so let's just poke and prod it into A, and it works out with flying colors, right? Like, Dane's got that vent, and he just is not able to hit the shot once again. Once he falls, the push down the stairs gets the value, and yes, they lose, I think, one person, but it's pretty easy going for Imperial. I mean, they're taking their time. The executions are very clean and crisp, and LCK have not really been able to challenge that at all. Again, the one-round win they got was a very close, clutch, kind of ninja defuse, right? Like, that's not a normal round to win, and they have not been able to answer the call of Imperial.
Oh. Dane, you'd think he should be winning these duels, but it almost feels like he's the one playing with fire right now because he's struggling for frags and he's finally gotten one. Hopefully that can get the ball rolling. Flex in the meanwhile also able to chime in. Momentum has stalled for Imperial. Ryuzao trying to bring the numbers back. Also dropping. Bit of a faster play from Imperial. Doesn't work out this time. We may see them go back to their default setup in the next round. Slow things down, because that's where they've been finding a lot of their success.
Yeah, Gokun here trying to find any opportunity to get back into this round, but it doesn't seem too likely. Lukum as well, working his way up through the double doors. He is going to drop the bomb while he goes for a bit of a riskier play. Dezane, though, not fully prepared. Here comes the sneak attack. Lukum able to find himself a first. Here comes the response very quickly behind him. It's going to be Dezane to take him down. Gokun, we've seen some crazy plays before, but a 1v4 with the C4 down would be pretty spectacular.
He's got a minute, you know, but I think that LCK have been good about sticking together. You know, like the double peeks out of the computer room there have been pretty good. Gokun is going to try to push down the stairs, maybe get the long angle onto the window here, and try to get a pick off and hold from there, although he is checking all his flanks, maybe waiting until the exact last moment. He knows that LCK doesn't really have a lot of information on where he could be, and that they're probably just holding on to some passive angles for now, so he's just going to get this one down. Nobody peeks him until perhaps this exact moment where Gokun is going to pick off the first. He needs 3 more.
I think it's Gokun time. Let's have a look and see. He's usually very solid in the clutch. He's been watching those stairs patiently. Nothing peeking from there. He's got to turn around now. LCK going to make their way in. I think they've given... I mean, yeah, look, unfortunately, he's given them a little bit too much space. He just gambled on the wrong angle, and sometimes that happens. It was a crisp first shot onto the player in the window, though. And I dare say if he would have set up looking in the opposite direction, he probably would have taken another 1 or 2 with him. Still, a nice round for LCK to get back in the conversation, though. Still down 4-2.
Yeah, it's not too bad of a spot, though, I'd say, for them to be in. I believe they only got 3 rounds on this side of the map against all gamers. It was really more about what they did on the Blacklist side here. So 3 or 4 for them in this first half wouldn't be the worst case scenario if they can make sure to get at least that. The big wild card right now is Real and Dane not having the best of times in this one, especially Dane when you compare the on the other side, Gokun 7-3 to his 1-6. It's been really tough trying to win these battles for him in control of A long, and Dezane as well in their match against all gamers. Almost 25 kills from him, and he's only 2-6 as well, so it's been a bit of a tough go, but we'll see if they can bounce back. It was a solid round in the previous one, especially with Flex stepping up, who we actually didn't see too much from in his opening match.
Yeah, definitely good to have at least a couple of guys who are putting stuff together. 2 rounds on the Global Risk so far, and the going has been pretty slow. It hasn't been like a freight train that Imperial generally is like. It hasn't been a lot of fast rounds, as Real's got to be careful hopping around there. There's no utility here at all. They're just slowly creeping in. Real is going to be spotted. That's first kill here for Fefe, and Flex did not expect Wukong to be there, and down he will go. Now, I mean, they can pretty much go any direction they want. There's a lot of coverage on A here from LCK. That's going to be a hit from Dezane, second kill over to defend the A bomb site.
Hanging in the balance, really, isn't it? But Dane, he hasn't been having a great game so far, so putting him under pressure is not a bad shout from Imperial, especially when you got that flank coming in from Ryu Zhao. Dane will be now between a rock and a hard place, and he's not even aware of Ryu Zhao coming up from above. He's actually played this quite nicely, though, Dane. Been able to survive. Unfortunately, not long enough, though, because Gokun will catch him, and Dezane now tasked with the one-on-one. C4 plan still waiting in the wings here. Gokun's searching for information. They're going to try to take a couple of 1v1s here by the looks of things for Imperial. And remember what Dezane was able to do in the first map against All Gamers. Let's not count him out just yet. Gokun goes down. I don't know about that position from him. Has put Ryu Zhao in the one-on-one. Ryu Zhao hasn't been spotted yet. Dezane, though, does a lot of damage on that initial swing. And it's anybody's chance now. Ryu Zhao wants to swing himself. Dezane, with the Pika's advantage, won't make it work. And Imperial get their clutch, their 1v1 clutch. So all's fair.
Yeah, the rounds are getting a little bit closer, but LCK, they are running out of time to make it happen for themselves. It's already 5-2, and they really need to find at least one of these last two rounds to have a fighting chance going into that second half. But you can tell Imperial, they've made a lot of improvements coming into today, and I definitely recognize what Seven was saying about these guys. I mean, you can tell they study a lot more than other teams would have in this circumstance, because they're not playing the way they normally would here, but they're playing perfectly countered to what LCK did in their first match.
Yeah, it's a better looking Imperial today, for sure. And I was sort of theorizing that that would be the case. All Gamers got their wake-up call on day one. I think Imperial kind of got their wake-up call here on day two. But both coming into day three have looked a much better version of themselves.
Yeah, I think it's a very healthy point of view to come in and say, hey, LCK are a good team. We're going to play them slow, and we're going to play our style and really make sure that we're not messing anything up. And it has been mostly good, although Fefe, you know, a little bit annoyed. Maybe just deep discussion right now of exactly how they want to play it out from here, as this timeout was called by LCK, of course. But yeah, can use this time to discuss stuff on your end as well. And I think Imperial don't really have to change much at all. I think you can just kind of continue with what you're doing. There was that one time they tried to charge in onto Dane, and there was a nice defense from the side of LCK. But other than that, every round has mostly been yours.
What a shot.
That was kind of crazy.
He is out. Generally pretty clutch. Someone that we highlighted a lot in Vietnam for his clutch potential. ADRF is going to be able to break open the A site. Did miss the opening kill of this round again because of those replays, but all good. 4-on-4. LCK have some retaking to do. Look, at least they've got a lot of map control, so they can rotate quickly back through the BL spawn. That's already been taken by Flex. Doesn't give Imperial a great post-plant setup.
Yeah, it's not necessarily ideal here for Imperial the way they're playing, but they still have to deal with this three-man push coming through. It's going to be Flex who finds the first with Real. Together they find two. Dane gets a third, and now Gokun is left alone. 1 versus 3. He's already found himself one, but it doesn't matter. Real with the nade takes the round for LCK with just barely, I think, enough time to get this defuse. You could tell even he was shocked he got it done.
Sigh of relief. Blistering pace actually on the retake in the end from LCK. And I think Imperial might have even been able to play the time a little bit more, so if they could have just tucked for another half a second, that could have been their round as well. Best case scenario now, though, for Imperial is going to be a 6-3 half. 5-4 would be kind of par for both teams. But 6-3, and with a nice start from Gokun, would mean Imperial just slightly favored going into the second half.
Yeah, I think the benefit I can see here for LCK was they did only get 3 rounds, I believe, on the GR side against All Gamers as well, and they still were able to take that win in overtime just because they had such a good BL side on that map. So I don't think 3 here is necessarily the worst place for them to be, but it does make it a bit more of an uphill battle having the harsher half at the start of the match rather than in the second half. So we'll see if they have what it takes to do it on the BL side. Again, it's still winnable in this round as well. They've got a 4-on-5, and they've been playing that way for many of these rounds because I feel like Dane hasn't really had any moments to shine here with Gokun playing this well.
Yeah, Dane has been a little bit of struggle street. He's been holding the same angle every time. That's going to be Flex picking up an Alm himself and looking down those sights. Takes out Gokun and says, I'm going to defend my my little teammates here and take the trade. So very nicely done. Does look like Imperial still wants to push this angle, though. There are at least 2 members from the side of LCK that are still on A, including Flex. With this Alm, I still believe he's got that. But let's see where exactly they are going to push. They still got 50 seconds.
Yeah, it is going to be probably right into Dezane here. Dezane, he's got the angle to challenge. He has to hold the line, gets the first kill, gets the second kill. Dezane with a huge triple kill. And Ryuzao, he's the only hope left now in the round, drops out of the vents to kill Real. But it could be too late at this point. It's already a 3-on-1.
It's looking like a 5-4 situation. Ryuzao just doesn't have enough health, time, or space as he's getting shot from every different angle. And LCK, they show up big time on that last round to give themselves a fantastic chance going into the second half. I was a little worried about them going into Imperial from the Blacklist side of subbase, but they have met the call, and they have answered it very, very well. Love this from Flex, just to challenge once again, knowing Gokun's going to be there, and then, of course, Dezane. Not going to miss with this one, spraying down 3 of them. The transfer's perfect. And now LCK, 4 rounds. They've got a decent...
Yeah, most definitely. Dane's been able to cross to the right side as well. I think Gokun has spotted him out definitely now. Shot will go through. Next shot will be on to. And he's going to change his position up as a result of giving away the information. Is it into the vent for Gokun?
Seems like it could be a possibility here, but it's going to be LCK creeping their way in towards this B bomb site, leaving just Lion Claw on the lurk in mid, but they really want to try and find a pick before they full commit here. You can see a lot of pressure being rotated towards that B bomb site from Imperial. They've got basically 4 players ready to go if that hit comes through, but Flex, he's also going to start throwing a fake now towards the A bomb site, throws a flash, a little bit of pre-fire there, and then the B hit's going to come to life now. Dezane leading the charge into the rafters. Ryuzao down below. They've got to take him down early on, and they will here, but Real gets a little bit too overzealous on the follow-through. Flex able to at least trade it out. Lukum, he's stuck here on the back of site, but Dane having trouble hitting the shots, finally gets it done, but it's still an even 2v2, but Flex, the Colts are coming to life for LCK, but it's all up to this 1v1 between Dane and Feifei.
And where is that C4? Dane is
it on the rafter?
Yeah, it is. He's just like, where is this thing? I don't know where it is. Now he obviously does, but yeah, we have figured it out. And you see that it is going to be Feifei who's just going to wait it out. Doesn't need to rush to get in there by any means. Doesn't want to get sniped. And he's got a good idea that this is probably staying B at this point, but it's going to stick right in the middle. And just wait for the plants. Dane, though, looking for that pick. And he is going out here early. Feifei considering it, but not going to peek just yet. Still waits for the plant. Feifei trying to rotate in. He's getting in behind Dane, and Dane is going to get a huge flick to hold on and win the round, the first one after the half.
I thought that was Feifei every day of the week. He played it almost perfectly. He'd gotten round behind. He'd managed to cut off the rotation back into the site, so he more or less knew exactly where Dane was, but still unable to win the clutch, and so we're at 5 apiece. Imperial starting to show some cracks again.
Yeah, now it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge here. LCK really getting into this fight. It's going to be a change of setup, though. Imperial going for the late push into the B control room. It's not going to work out, though. It's completely shut down. Dezane and Real finding one apiece. You could see Feifei wanted to support there from the backside of mid, but it's just not going to happen. These guys are getting lit up across the board, and LCK, they've got a real shot at taking the lead here now.
I wonder if they can take this map off Imperial. That is something that I hadn't really considered as a possibility. Like, of course, it's crossed the mind, but never did I really think it was going to happen. Now, though, I'm starting to wonder, what would that do to the mental of Imperial?
Yeah, this is a very rough round for Imperial so far. I mean, the over-aggression into the control room, that was just watched the entire time. Gokun dead for free. Just no coverage on his backside. Dezane going to pick up a kill now onto Feifei. Ruzal is in the middle of the map as this gets planted. And yeah, Imperial just getting picked apart on this one. It feels like LCK keeping that composure, whereas Imperial not necessarily doing so themselves. As now Ruzal, he's got a big ask. It's not going to happen. LCK 2 in a row to take the lead.
What a way to pull it off, too. I mean, at the start of this game, it didn't look like they were going to have as strong of a fight here in map 1 of this series, but right now they are leading it, and this is the side they prefer to be on, so it is a really good position now for LCK to potentially grab this first map with. And you can see here as well, some of these players who are kind of lackluster performers in the first half have really come to life, but this time Imperial, they're ready to answer back. It's a 4-for-2 exchange here, not quite what they were looking for on LCK's side, but Dane at least going to finalize the kill onto Gokun, and he has to reclaim the C4 now with a player in the way, but can he hit some flicks again? Not this time around. It is going to be a nice response from Imperial to keep themselves well within the fight.
I'm almost surprised that Imperial doesn't fire up a little bit there and kind of sling some noise back in the direction of LCK, because I do feel like LCK, you know, they were really getting in on Imperial in that previous round when they picked up the dub. But Imperial are keeping quiet for the moment. 6 apiece. Maybe their minds are a little more focused on the game. Tighter than they might have anticipated after that first half, but now starting to come into their own a little.
Gokun with the sneaky little headshot there, catching Flex unawares. And a good start here for Imperial on this round, especially after that little bit of damage that did go down. Well, I say a little bit. It was actually quite a chunk into Lion Claw. So certainly Imperial feeling pretty good about their chances now. Gokun holding down lockers. Rest of the team able to set their sights on this computer hallway that has been a big contesting point of this map so far. Lion Claw hanging out in the vents. We'll see if Adrian spots him out. As now he will. He's going to back away, but Real and Lion Claw still able to get one apiece as Ruzal will shut down the push for now.
They don't expect a second player in the vents, though, and so that'll be a free kill for Dezane. Imperial have their backs against the wall. Gokun's going to try to get the timing right into the vent. Dezane is watching. Oh, but he turns around. So we're back to a 2-on-2. And I'd say these are probably the 2 most clutch players on the Imperial squad. 14-9 right now for Gokun, 12-8 for Ryuza. They've both been having a good map. You'd really not want to have anyone but these 2 in the 2-on-2 clutch. Doesn't start well, though. Dane loses his head, but Gokun is running out of time. He's going to have to sit the defuse. Tries to draw out the peak from Real, but even though he hits the shot, there's no time, and he knows it.
Yeah, he's not saying that to his team.
Definitely not.
Standing up and screaming across the stage, and it was quite the big round. I love that first pick off from Dane with the composer just being ran at by Ruzal, still able to pick it off. Nice first kill from Gokun, but LCK just controlling that A site really nicely in many different angles. Gokun did get the one, but then runs out of time, and it's 7-6 LCK. This was the read from Kyle as well, saying that, hey, LCK are really good on this map. They're not going to be scared to play Imperial on this one, and we're seeing part of the reason why, I believe, here.
Yeah, I'm glad they picked it. Play to your strengths. And they're proving to us that they deserve to be at CFS Grand Finals 2023.
can see a bit of a sneak attack, though, here from Adrian on the corner. I'm not sure if Dane, in the chaos of trying to fight Gokun early on, actually spotted this player. No, he was not ready for that one, but at least Lion Claw is right there to secure the trade and keep things well within reach for LCK. Ryuzao playing the jump spot here on the top of lockers, but they're going to spot him out as well and back off back towards this A bomb site and really reapply that pressure. And one of the things LCK is so good at on this map is their ability to control the vents at the opportune moments here. You can see Flex sneaking in. He's going to have that support in place, and because of this rush onto A bottom, they have to put all of their attention here. And it's going to be Flex who finds one on the lurk already as well. Dezane putting that pressure on, but Gokun, he's still alive here, gets the double kill, and this has been completely turned around thanks to Gokun just staying alive and getting those kills. Real, he is very low on HP, and now he's in a 1-on-2.
Yeah, going in the wrong direction though as well, LCK for Real here. He should run into 2 members of Imperial if he goes up the stairs. It's actually been smoked off. Wise move to go back down into the site. Should allow the plant. He's going to go for it. Another clutch attempt for these 2 from Imperial. Gokun and Ryuzao walking right onto the stairs. That's a hard one to win for Real. Low HP. And Imperial get one more.
Yeah, gonna even things up. Makes it very even situation. And you see Real, he's like, okay, it's all right. And I believe it is fine from here on out, as they do get the defuse, of course. You guys don't get to see that part, but taking a look at this, I mean, this is really the clutch moment. Gokun, I don't know if anyone else can really do this, to swing back. He's getting pressure from both sides, using an AWM behind just the one box on A. Swings to the stairs, hits that shot, hits the headshot with a pistol right after. Pretty incredible stuff, and without that, I think probably Imperial just get swarmed and lose that round.
Yeah, it's a really tough round to lose for LCK because they just didn't push into site deep enough to clear out Gokun's position, and he's perfect at punishing those mistakes. I mean, he's 19-9, really leading that charge for the Imperial team in this matchup. But now it's still an even round situation, very winnable for either team. So you've got to have the rest of these guys stepping up around Gokun if they really want these start of round plays to be a bit more favorable for them. You can see Flex interested in going for the vent control, but I like the play from Imperial. They've got Adrian a lot further forward, knowing that LCK's go-to strat in the late round is to take that vent.
LCK, I'm going to get Locker's control for free. Bit of a push out from Gokun here in response, though. He knows that he needs to take a bit of map control. He needs to be the difference maker right now for Imperial. So he's going to put himself in the point man position, especially if a rotation comes back from LCK. If they decide that they want to go toward A, then Gokun's in a really good spot to cause trouble. Won't quite hit the quick scope. That's a big loss for Imperial.
Yeah, and Real, he's not putting up huge numbers, but he's getting really hype, and he's getting really important kills like that one. Now, Adrian is going to be able to trade it back. If it gets one, Lion Claw and the crew are coming down the stairs right now, though. Will Imperial be able to handle this? That is a big grenade to really weaken this push from coming in. Adrian not cleared out either, as LCK might be able to limp onto the site right now, but Imperial have an opportunity to retake this one.
Yeah, it's all going to come down to the utility they can use to keep a hold of this one. All they've got to do is stall the clock here. They're really good at doing that, though. They've already done it once to Imperial on this same retake, but now they don't have the HP to hold on near as long. Dane has to hit this first shot. He's going to miss it, though, but Dezane on the cross, able to find one, and now they just have to keep Lion Claw alive here, but there is not a whole lot of time. Imperial, they've got to move quickly, but they have just enough time to get it done, and that is a massive round, and you can hear it from them.
Yeah, there's some noise now coming from the Brazilian camp, and it's only going to get louder if they pick up another 1 or 2 rounds. They've been biding their time, maybe, right? LCK have been kind of shouting about anything, but Imperial, they don't want to. You know what the worst thing is? It's like when you get pumped up and you start, you know, kind of smack talking a little bit, and then you still go on to lose.
Yeah.
That's the worst. And I feel like maybe that could happen to LCK right now. And that would be the sweetest of victories for Imperial. Gokun, though, 2 chances, 2 misses. Ryu's out, though. He's got the huge spray down onto Lion Claw to Zane, and then whips out the pistol for a kill onto Real. It's just Ryu Zhao.
I mean, yeah, let's just give him a trophy for that round. That was all his, basically, because Gokun is out there. He's firing shots. He's missing them all. The one thing that he did do, though, was get a lot of focus on him. And then I think LCK were not expecting Ruzao in the rafters here. He gets the perfect spray, hits the pistol shots as well for the 3K. And, LCK were trying to come on hard and fast. And I think that Gokun did a nice job of distracting, if nothing else.
Yeah, quick switch to the AK on the floor as well instead of having a reload. So fantastic stuff from Ryuzao. Good shot, though, from Flex as ADRF goes creeping through the vent. Not sure what necessarily prompted that.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it did work for him really well in the last round, but this is just LCK adapting quickly. They know he was going to try and take that forward angle again. They put Flex in that position early on, and now we'll see what they can do. But Gokun on the other side of it, trying to get the counter boost. A bit of a struggle here, though. It is a difficult one to hit perfectly on the first try, but they will post him up now on the other side of this event. Looking at the round, though, as a whole, I feel like LCK, they're playing a little bit too safe here, and now Imperial, they are putting a lot of the numbers onto this A bomb site, which is a bit of a peculiar call. I feel like one player on B is a really dangerous game to play here.
Gonna have to take a risk, though, when you're down 4 on 5. Maybe the call is going to be correct, though. LCK moving the bomb back over toward the A side of the map. They did get kind of wrecked over on B in the previous round, so that is potentially factoring into this decision.
It's going to be an interesting push. Imperial very ready for this one, but Lion Claw and LCK have been good at pushing down these stairs. They do clean it up. It's 3v2. Gokun still looking at the vent, and so there's a good reason why, as we do a flex up in there. But Dane, again, he's getting position behind the missile. They should be able to plant this one down. Grenade into the vent of all places. Once again, just continuing to feel this pressure. Can Imperial clear this one out? Maybe Ruzao just has to clutch it big time once again.
We are going to see Flex as well, scooping up another AK. Dane hits the shot as well, and it's all on to Gokun. 1 versus 3. Flex, though, drops down at the perfect moment, and now they are 1 step away from taking it into overtime.
Another close map. LCK. Overtime win on sub-base against All Gamers, 13-12. Golden point. Could they do it again? This time to Imperial.
They absolutely could. I mean, it's really impressive to see their round-by-round little
Adaptations?
Yeah, adaptations, their mix-ups, what they're going for, all that vent pressure, and, Imperial kind of just trying to hold it down and not get overwhelmed, but LCK are really challenging them here in this series. This is pretty much anybody's game from here. LCK, obviously, the onus is on them to force overtime, but from the Blacklist side, they've got a good chance. Gokun in a very unique position here on the stairs, trying to get a little bit aggressive onto anyone who might pressure here. Ruzaldo, once again, just so reliable up there in the rafters. Gokun, he's got some great information. And the kill as they come in fast, but Gokun gets 2, and that should be good enough. Zane and Dane trying to come in here, but look at Imperial, they're right on position. That's going to be the double kill, coming in 1 apiece, and that will be Imperial 10-8. Congratulations.